It is 4 p.m. We're bringing developing news.
And the stories behind the headlines. This is StoryCon. I'm Regina Lay.
I'm Ed Lingao. Some stories we're watching this Thursday, August 7.
Several lawmakers came to the defense of House Speaker Martin Romualdez. That's after Senator Amy Marcos called on the House to replace Romualdez instead of removing an elected official like Vice President Sara Duterte. Representative Jude Asidre said the Speaker showed true leadership by allowing members to vote freely on the impeachment complaint and respecting the outcome. Ako Bicol Party List Representative Alfredo Garbin, on the other hand, said that while Senator Marcos is entitled to her views, she should refrain from interfering in the internal matters of the House. Marcos, for her part, clarified that her remarks were merely suggestions.
Suggestion lang naman to, kayo magalit at wala namang pinipilit at sinasuggest ko lang, total, panay flex ng ilan na impeach sino, impeach dyan, nako. Eh di ganyan, wag pakialaman ang mga pinili ng taong bayan, yung kaya na lang nila, kaya nasabi ko yun.
Meantime, Senator Ping Lacson of the Minority Bloc explains his decision to abstain from the Senate vote to archive VP Duterte's impeachment. Here is part of his interview with One Balita Pilipinas earlier today.
Yung motion to archive, yun, ang ibig sabihin nun, yung articles of impeachment, parang patay na, no? Pero pwede itong revive. Pwedeng ma-resuscitate. Kaya lang, kailangan mayroong mag-motion pa muli at pag-deliberate yun ulit. Sa archive, nag-abstain ako kasi nga, lagi ko sinasabi na dapat igalang at sundin ang Korte Suprema. Pero yung yung motion to archive na na-aproba, sinasabi doon na mag-adhere sa ruling ng Supreme Court, teka muna, paano kung dumating ang panahon na halimbawa yung Supreme Court dahil sa MR, ni-reverse na lang sarili at sinabing pwede yung Senado na mag-proceed na mag-trial. Doon ako naipit kasi lagi kong sinasabi na dapat sundin ng Korte Suprema. So minabuti ko mag-abstain dahil ayoko rin i-preempt yung pwede maging ruling ng Korte Suprema based sa motion of reconsideration na ipinal ng Solgen or ng House of Representatives through the Solgen.
President Bongbong Marcos, who is still in India on a state visit, says the executive branch has little role in the impeachment process against Vice President Duterte. He was asked about reports linking the vice president. He was asked about the vice president's assassination threat, and Marcos said he could not confirm it, but added that all threats to his safety are taken seriously. Here's part of his interview with Indian media outlet First Post.
I've not refused to comment on the impeachment process. I've just made it very clear that the executive, the president, has very little role to play in that process. So we are of course very interested parties, very interested observers, but it doesn't go beyond that. Well, I think that the political heat, all the noise is toned down.
So to hatch an assassination plot, you worked with her. Do you think she's capable of something like that? Oh.
I don't know. But I'm really not in a position to say what that's about. But you have to be careful. Yeah. But then in my position, there always is some kind of threat, and we take them all very seriously.
In the same interview, Marcos also clarified that the Philippines is not preparing for war. That's amid the country's ongoing military modernization efforts, which includes a possible additional purchase of BrahMos missiles from India. Marcos arrived in Bengaluru, India this afternoon, the second stop in his 5-day state visit. Bengaluru is known as the Silicon Valley of India due to its large tech industry.
In other news, the Philippine economy grew by 5.5% in the second quarter of 2025. That's slightly faster than the 5.4% recorded in the first quarter. The PSA, or the Philippine Statistics Authority, says all major sectors, including agriculture, industry, and services, posted year-on-year growth. The economic team has earlier set a 5.5 to 6.5% target for 2025.
President Donald Trump says the U.S. will impose a 100% tariff on semiconductor chips. The only exemption is for companies that are manufacturing or committed to manufacturing in the United States. Trump said the policy is part of a broader push to bring tech manufacturing back to America, and he also warned that companies who break their promises may be charged retroactively. Meantime, Semiconductor and Electronics Industries in the Philippines Foundation, or SAPI, President Dan Lachica said the move would be, quote, devastating. He noted that semiconductors make up 70% of the country's total exports, coming up to $30 billion last year.
And joining us today from the Philippine Star, the editor-in-chief, ang bossing ng mga taga-Parañaque, si Ami Pamintuan.
Hi. Happy Thursday, everyone.
Happy Thursday.
Napuyat ba kayo, Reg and ano?
Mukhang peace and quiet naman today.
Kayo kahapon.
After yesterday's fireworks.
Oh, may bago na naman tayong word.
Ano?
Archive.
Siyempre.
Archived.
Saka ano, may LPA, may
So,
LPA.
we went from debating forthwith to debating remand, and now we are debating archive.
Or that or
Yes.
tabling.
Or tabling. Pero table's
yeah,
gone.
it's now moved,
Table
diba?
was lost, right? The table was
The table
lost.
got overturned.
The table got overturned, and now it's an archived, which, as some people are pointing out, is not really an option. It came from nowhere. Di naman siya part of Senate rules or.
Well, I think it's a better, not a better option, pero a
Better
more
than
feasible
dismissal.
option than dismissal. Kasi sabi nga ni Ping Lacson,
Ah.
nothing in the rules for the Senate to be dismissing anything. Maybe the impeachment court, but not the Senate as a ledge body. So actually, that's also the reason why si Ping abstained. One of the reasons why Ping abstained.
He is
Parang ano yan compliance with kasi yung Supreme Court ruling meron nakalagay na it has to be immediately executory. But
correct.
it was issued before the MR. O kaya ngayong may MR, yan na yung ano nila, siguro yan yung compromise na archive. Hindi naman siguro tayo magkikwibol masyado sa meaning ng archive.
Well,
Hindi pa siya tinatapon, wala pa sa
hindi
junkyard,
pa
wala
siya
pa sa
tinatapon,
basurahan.
pero sabi ng ilan sa mga
Diba?
senador, pinatay na.
But no, the funny thing is nobody seems happy about it. So a reporter asked Senator the Duterte bloc, for instance, like Senator Bato de la Rosa kagabi, and he feels like it wasn't a win. It wasn't a big win.
Yeah.
And the other side also doesn't feel like it's a win. So this is a very watered down compromise
Yeah.
that
Compromise siya.
yeah, it's a compromise in every sense. And
Kasi if you ask the Duterte people, siyempre mas gusto nilang outright dismissal. Talagang
Yes.
kaput talaga. As in, dead and
Nandiyan si
buried.
Senator Marcoleta, he stood up there for several hours defending his move to dismiss.
correct.
Di ba?
Hindi rin.
Until nga naging archive. And yung archive, yung defense team ngayon ni Vice President Duterte, sabi nila, sila mismo sabi nila, the work is not yet over.
Ang sabi nila.
May
Ang sabi ng
MR.
Duterte team.
Yan ang ano nila ngayon, yan ang reaction nila ngayon.
Oh,
And
my.
they are preparing the response to the motion for reconsideration. Dalawa na yan, di ba? Hindi naman yata i-consolidate sa Supreme Court.
Correct. And now we also have a situation wherein parang all interparliamentary courtesy has gone out the window because you have
Grabe.
lawmakers from both sides.
Joke only.
Senator Amy hitting the
Suggestion lang daw,
House.
suggestion.
Not just the House, calling for the replacement of
The House Speaker, the House
Quite
Leader.
interesting.
Oo nga, yun na nga. Magpinsan yun eh. Baka away pamilya yan.
Yeah, but to make that call in open session, it's different from an ambush interview, which by itself an ambush interview, you seldom hear something that florid or that direct.
Yeah.
But anyway, Sibo.
Okay, at this point, let's bring in somebody who can shed more light into the session yesterday, the historic session yesterday. We are honored to have Deputy Minority Leader Senator Risa Ontiveros join us this afternoon. Senator Risa, thank you for making time for us.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Thank you for inviting me.
Hi,
Good
Senator.
afternoon. Hi, Miss Amy, Sir Ed, and Miss Regina, at yung ating mga tagapanood.
Okay, Senator Risa, let's get right into it. There's so much to talk about. The first thing I want to say is technically the vote should not have come as a surprise. Even in the days leading up to it, you have Senator Jinggoy talking about 19 or 20 senators who want to abide by the Supreme Court decision. And true enough, that came to pass. 19 senators voted
Medyo
for
malinaw
it.
yung hatian eh.
So parang, oo, sakto yung numbers niya. But clearly, you're, of course, disappointed. What was the biggest issue for you?
Well, first of all, the biggest issue was and is, and I think will always be, accountability. Exacting accountability for those of us serving in public office. So ang nakasalalay dito, hindi lang yung exclusive right under the Constitution ng Senado na duminig at magdesisyon sa impeachment complaint. Hindi rin lang yung exclusive right ng House mag-initiate ng impeachment complaint. Higit sa lahat, yung karapatan ng ating mga kababayan malaman ano ba yung mga ebidensya at saka testigo sa bawat articles of impeachment sa isang impeachment official. And may I also add na lahat naman kami, all 24, gusto namin at sinabi namin, nirerespeto namin ang Korte Suprema at hindi yun magbabago. It's just that the 5 of us who voted to table the motion to dismiss, tingin namin ito yung proper na action. May mga motions for reconsideration na pending pa sa Korte Suprema. In fact, they gave the Vice President 10 days within which to reply to the MR. So kumbaga, hindi pa final yung ruling ng Korte Suprema. At sabi nga ni Minority Leader Senator Tito Soto, bakit kayo nagmamadali?
Ma'am, kasi there were several of your colleagues who made several points that more or less hew along the same lines. I wonder what you think of these. For example, kasi right now you're talking about accountability being the biggest issue, accountability of public officials. On the other hand, for example, you had Senator Amy Marcos saying, wag pakialaman ang pinili ng taong bayan, yung binoto ng so many millions, I suppose. Also, you had another colleague yesterday na sabi, talunin na lang sa 2028. And then another colleague who said mas importante pag-usapan at wag na itong nakaka-divide sa atin lahat. How do you square those calls with what you're calling for in terms of accountability for those in public office?
Napaka-importante talaga yung nakasalalay dito. At yung mga importanteng yon precisely naka-embed dun mismo sa articles of impeachment. Dahil ina-allege na may mga hindi pagtupad sa tungkulin sa usapin ng pag-account sa public funds, sa usapin ng pagsunod sa Code of Conduct of Public Officials and Employees, kaugnay ng mga usapin ng karapatang pantao. So, mga napaka-importante din na nasa puso at kaluluwa ng mga articles of impeachment at na hinihintay nga, hindi lang ng mga senator judges, pero ng ating mga kababayan, malaman ano ba talaga yung mga ebidensya at witnesses dyan para makabuo rin sila ng opinion kung dapat nga bang pagkatiwalaan pa, dapat bang i-convict or dapat bang i-acquit. And I always will go back to that matter of accountability. It goes beyond electoral matters. Hindi naman china-challenge ng impeachment complaint na nahalal ba siya o hindi. Hindi. May mga seryosong alegasyon na sa kasalukuyang posisyon ay hindi tumupad o kaya ay lumabag. At yun po yung kaya ganun ka-importanting proseso ang impeachment. In a way, it can be considered ang pinakamataas na paraan na maningil ng accountability ang ating mamamayan sa pinakamataas nating mga opisyal.
In the meantime, Senator, naka-archive siya ngayon. Dalawa lang question ko na tinatanong ng taong bayan, ano daw ba exactly ibig sabihin ng archive, nalibing na daw ba yan, o pwede pa ba siyang ma-revive because this is what Jesus Escudero is saying. Pwede naman niyang i-revive depende sa voting ng Supreme Court. At pangalawa nga, yun ang Supreme Court, mukhang yung mga kasama ninyo sa Senado, they are so confident na hindi ma-reverse. Ano ang sentimento ninyo about the Supreme Court at this point?
Ang sentimiento ko po ay, at hindi ito ay pag-asa na walang pinagbabatayan. Ang sentimento ko ay dahil dati na-reverse na ng Supreme Court ang sarili niya kahit pa sa mga unanimous rulings tulad nitong kanilang ruling dito sa impeachment complaint. So malay ba natin 50-50 man lang ang posibilidad dahil nangyari na dati na maulit ng Korte Suprema i-reverse ang sarili niya. Definitely hindi pa patay yung impeachment complaint na iyan, naka-archive, ibig sabihin parang sa library kung naalala pa ng ating manonood, kumbaga naka-file away dun sa archives. Pero extra effort para lang hukayin yan at ilabas sa archives. Dahil hindi simpleng tulad nung kung nilay on the table na lang, tulad ng motion ni Minority Leader Soto na kung laid on the table lang, oras na kung mag-reverse ang Korte Suprema, pwedeng ituloy na kaagad yung na-freeze muna o na-lay on the table muna na impeachment trial. Dito, para i-unarchive ang isang bagay na in-archive, pagdedebatihan ulit yan at kailangan makasecure ng majority vote ulit. So napakahirap gawin, mataas na hurdle na lalagpasan.
Pero ma'am, at the same time, we chatted with the former Justice Ascuna. He was also looking at it from a different point of view. Sabi niya, baka better na ng archive kasi if you archive, at least hindi siya yung... Kasi kung nasa
dismissal.
Kasi kung if it's on the table lang, pwedeng bukas i-dismiss na yan. Or kamakalawa. Unlike an archive, you know that it's there and until there's a decision by the Supreme Court, it will just be there. Of course, that's his point of view. I understand he was also there yesterday sa inyong sa gallery.
I agree with the former Justice Ascuna. Definitely, mas okay na yung archive. We could live with that rather than it having been outright dismissed. Kaya lang napakahirap, napakataas ng hurdle na kailangang lampasan. And kung na-carry yung motion ni Minority Leader Soto na i-lay on the table, hindi rin naman agad-agad o madaling ma-dismiss outright yan. Dahil ang formulation po ng motion ni Minority Leader Soto ay lay on the table until the Supreme Court shall have ruled on the motions for reconsideration. So, iintayin pa rin yung moment na yon na magdesisyon ang Korte Suprema sa mga MR bago in fact, yung laying on the table ay yung motion to dismiss. So, kung inintay lang sana, kung hindi nagmadali, kung inintay yung desisyon ng Korte Suprema sa MR, babalik ulit dun sa moment na i-consider, i-debate, pagbotohan yung motion to dismiss.
Speaking of former Justice Ascuna, Senator, what did you make of SP Chi's ranting against the ex-justices in his not privileged speech, but when he was explaining his vote? He named Justices Carpio Morales, Antonio Carpio, Adolf Ascuna, Renato Puno, Artemio Panganiban. He says they're the very same ones na back in 2003 voted in favor of CJ Davide using the same one-year bar rule, and now bumaliktad daw sila. And he's pointed out that sabi niya they've changed their positions. Ang pinagkaiba lang is na iba yung pangalan ng nasasakta. So the implication is very clear. He's trying to say that this is all political persecution because there are people who don't like Sara Duterte. What were you thinking during this time?
I was thinking na this is deeper, this is higher than mere partisan politics. Accountability pa rin pala. At unfair, sabihan yung mga dating justices o chief justices na sa kanila usapin lang ito ng kung sino ang impeachable official at bar. Nag-iba yung mga konteksto. And definitely siguro sa mga nauna nilang mga desisyon o posisyon sa mga naunang impeachment complaints, yung mga complaint na iyan, or rather yung pagpuposisyon sa mga complaint na iyan, ay batay sa facts of the cases or facts of the complaints. I would imagine pag binilikan natin yung mga dating pagpuposisyon nila, ay hindi batay sa mga serious factual errors na sinasite dito sa kasalukuyang ruling ng Korte Suprema. Kasi imagine, sinabi sa ruling na hindi pinagbotohan in plenary ng House bago i-transmit sa Senado yung impeachment complaint. Samantalang malinaw sa records ng House na sinertify ng House Secretary General na 200 plus sa mga representante who were present ay nag-aproba dyan. At may mga iba pang mga serious factual errors na paano magiging basehan ng isa namang tamang desisyon. Meron pa nga kayong colleagues sa media na nag-anunsyo pa na yung sinite na pag-ulat daw nila na diba na hindi pagboto in plenary sinite sa Supreme Court ruling, mali, baliktad. Sabi nila, we never reported that there was no plenary vote on the impeachment complaint. So, grabe, ang tama yung paulit-ulit na sinabi ni Minority Leader Soto, kung mali yung facts, paano magiging tama yung desisyon?
You're talking about the ABS-CBN statement.
The ABS-CBN statement, which I made of record last night.
Saying that actually they did not report that the complaint was transmitted without a plenary vote. Wala yun sa original reports nila. Go ahead,
Wala
Annie.
talaga. So saan nakuha yon ng ruling ng Korte Suprema?
Pero Senator, may mga nagsasabi din, considering the vote yesterday, mukhang desidido na yung mga because alam naman ng buong bayan kung ano yung laman ng articles of impeachment, and more or less alam na rin natin because of the congressional investigations yung mga ebidensyang ipipresenta, no? And ang sabi nung iba, kahit naman anong ruling dyan, kahit balik pa rin ng Supreme Court yung order at mapilitang mag-refile ang House, since it's the same group of senators who will vote on it, who will try the case, inaasahan natin na ganyan din ang bagsak ng boto. In fact, before the MR, eksaktong-eksakto yung sinabi. Around 19 to 20 senators will vote na i-dismiss bago dumating yung MR. Yung pang-20, yung nag-vacillate si Senator Ping Lacson. Eksakto, ang galing, di ba? I mean, ang sinasabi ng mga tao, bakit pa ba itutuloy? Exercise in futility lang daw. Ano po yung masasabi nyo sa ganong obserbasyon?
Never an exercise in futility. Ang Senado po ay deliberative body. Nakita nyo naman po kahapon, 6.5 oras kaming nagdebate bago pa kami nagbotohan ng 2 beses. At kung mayroong in the future na mag-file na mamamayan o representante, kahit pa pareho yung grounds na isa-cite nila or iba, pag tinransmit sa Senado, duty-bound kami at aming solong kapangyarihan na dinigin yan at magdesisyon dyan. There's never an exercise in futility. I always say, walang mabuting bagay na nasasayang. At by the way, hindi po nag-vacillate si Senator Ping. Malinaw sa kanyang explanation of vote sa pangalawang boto, yung kanilang pag-abstain, yung basehan nila. It was still based on pagrespeto sa Korte Suprema at pag-uphold ng eminent principle ng accountability at paghaya, no, na huminog yung mga proseso at huwag i-shortcut ito o huwag i-short circuit ito.
But at the same time, just to follow through on Ami's point, at the same time, Senator, this was the first big test for the new minority bloc, no?
Yes.
And we already saw, well, you divided. Senators Loren Legarda and Mig Zubiri voted in favor of the majority. How should we read into that? Is it going to be like this all the time, or did you talk about it? Ano pong insight doon?
Ang insight ko dito ay tulad pa rin nung nagsimula kami bilang isang minority. We are united on fulfilling the mandate ng isang minority sa Senado na mag-check and balance, mag-fiscalize, itaguyod ang mga tradisyon at saka rules ng Senado. We don't expect each other, kaming lima, to always vote the same way on every single issue. Pero within the collegial body that is the Senate, nagiging po kaming isang napaka-collegial na minority din. And yes, to greater and lesser degrees, pinag-uusapan namin halos lahat ng mga issue. Kaya at least among us, walang masyadong gulatan. And I'm confident na even after the long and really exhausting debate last night, magpapatuloy yung aming paghahanap ng greater and greater unities at greater and greater effectiveness bilang isang minority. On the floor nga kagabi, habang ine-explain naming lahat yung aming mga boto, nagsisimula na rin kaming mag-usap sa minority sa mga susunod na legislative battles na ilulunsad namin sa loob ng Senado.
So you knew going in that Senators Legarda and Zubiri were not going to vote with you, but were you disappointed?
But was I?
Disappointed.
Well, of course, I had wished for a better overall vote sa aming 24. Pero sa aming 24 at lalo na sa aming 5, there is that very strong mutual respect. So, moving forward, we'll always start fresh sa bawat debate, sa bawat importanteng issue and seek the broadest possible unity among us 5.
Ma'am, I understand what you're trying to say. Na just because the fight is going to be hard doesn't mean that you're not going to fight at all. On the other hand, in the future, whether it's the immediate future or the medium-term future, how do you intend to change the voting? Kasi ngayon, linyado na eh. I mean, it's pretty clear right now. Sabi nga ni Ami, it's pretty clear right now. You have at least 19 people who are going to stand there or sit there and resist. And you can expect that number to more or less stay along those lines or around that range throughout. Whether it's to raise from the dead yung nasa archive, or whether to convict or to acquit in the future. So that's going to be it's a huge number. How do you intend to go about?
Big mountain to climb. It's an up.
Well, aside from what I mentioned earlier na deliberative body kami, I think just as umaasa pa rin ako na tulad nung dati na ni-reverse nila ang sarili nila na pwedeng i-reverse ng Supreme Court ang ruling nila dito sa impeachment complaint. All the more dapat may tiwala ako na posibleng makakumbinse pa ng mga dagdag na kasama dito sa Senado. In fact, going into the plenary debate yesterday, meron akong best number possible of from 9 to even 13. Yung ganyang range, no? Hindi namin na-shoot yon, pero ibig sabihin, given yung iba't ibang factors at play, yung fluidity ng bawat sitwasyon, if there will be a continuation of this impeachment trial o kung magkakaroon ng bagong impeachment complaint, may mga factors na mananatiling pareho tulad kagabi, pero there may also be new factors that will come into play o mga factors na magpi-play in a different way. So, lagi kong babasahin ang bawat bago o medyo bagong arena with fresh eyes para makita kung may pagkakataon na yun, itaguyod yung prinsipyo ng accountability.
Senator, you think public opinion helps? Kasi marami alam niyo naman dito, no? Kanya-kanya tayong opinion eh. Lahat ang iingay, ano? Does it help? Nai-influensyan ba yung mga senador?
I think kahit kaming mga senador ay tulad ninong tao ay hindi manhid sa pakiramdam at sa tingin ng mamamayan. Kaya maraming salamat sa pagmamalasakit ng ating mga kababayan sa ganitong mga importanteng issue. Nakikita po namin kayo, naririnig po namin at nararamdaman kayo. And I mean not just yung ibang mga kasama namin na nagtatrabaho sa buong gobyerno. I mean especially yung mas maraming mga kababayan natin na nasa civil society at pati yung mga kababayan natin sa private sector, dahil lahat ay nag-oobserba sa ganitong mga importanteng kaganapan na may kinalaman sa accountability at saka sa good governance. So definitely please keep observing yung mga kaganapang ito sa Senado, and wag po kayong tumigil alam at iparamdam po sa amin ang inyong mga opinion dito.
Senator, one of the heated moments last night, was when you got into a debate with Senator Marcoleta about whether the Supreme Court, the probability of Supreme Court reversing its decision considering that it was unanimous. And then you gave the examples na in the past where they did reverse kahit na unanimous decision, like in the case of Isaa. But I wanted to get a bit more of the backstory from you. What was going through your mind at that time? Nung nagkakadebate na po kayo ni Senator Marcoleta. And secondly, do you have insights on why it was Senator Marcoleta who ended up putting forth the motion, who became the proponent, considering that he's still very new to the upper chamber? I mean, he's just been sworn in, right?
He's just been sworn in, pero isa sila sa mga anim lamang na abogado sa Senado ngayong 20th Congress. So, hindi ko alam kung paano yung naging decision-making process nila sa majority, pero sila nga yung tumayo. Una, privilege speech, pero katulad nung nangyari nung nakaraang Hunyo, privilege speech muna o manifestation, and then sa huli, ang closing, ang clincher ay yung motion nga ulit para i-dismiss. Kaya tumayo din kaagad si Minority Leader Soto para mag-interpellate at i-amend yung motion na yan, na i-lay on the table yung motion to dismiss. I guess dalawang bagay yung tumatakbo sa isip ko habang nagsasalita yung gentleman from Tarlac. Una, syempre ay mali yun. Hindi totoo na never or halos never nagre-reverse ang Korte Suprema. At hindi po yan suntok sa buwan. At kahit pa nga suntok sa buwan, kung hindi nagsusuntok sa buwan tayo mga Pilipino, baka hindi natin nagawa yung marami-raming mga dakilang bagay na ginawa ng ating bayan sa ating buong kasaysayan kung hindi tayo nagsuntok sa buwan. And in any case, it would appear from the documentation at binahagi ko yung tungkol dyan kagabi, it would appear na hindi talaga suntok sa buwan, nakatuntong sa lupa ang paa natin to say that the Supreme Court has, in fact, in certain instances, reversed itself. At notable yung dun sa kaso nga ng BT Talong. So, kung yung ganyang probability ay nangyari na sa nakaraan, ibig sabihin, possibility na siya, 50-50 man lang. Kaya nga po, nagdedebate kami na bakit ba tayo nagmamadali? May MR, binigyan na nga ng Korte Suprema si VP Duterte ng mga araw para mag-comment. So, ba't hindi natin hintayin ng MR bago mag-desisyon dyan?
Actually, I was waiting for Senator Marcoleta to further challenge your facts, kasi he was already beginning to challenge them, asking, and then he goes into where these constitutional issues that were being deliberated.
Yeah.
So, dumadagdag yung mga kondisyon. Pero
kaya sabi ko parang ano yan operative facts. Yung iipahin mo yung context halfway through the conversation or the process. Pero sige lang, kasi nasagot ko rin naman.
Pero
in the case of PT Talong, it was a unanimous ruling at first, ni-reverse nila unanimously. So, nangyari na sa nakaraan. So, therefore, moving forward in the future, it is always a possibility.
Okay. But
yung reversal, Senator, it doesn't have to be unanimous, di ba?
It doesn't.
Basta matalo lang yung ano.
Opo, ang tanong naman nila was, may unanimous ruling na ba ng Korte Suprema na ni-reverse nila? At yung incontrovertible na sagot dyan ay oo, ito po ang mga resibo.
And again, to be very clear, nag-unbank yung Supreme Court when they reversed these rulings. I think that was the point of Senator Marcoleta.
Opo, dagdag na tanong o kondisyon nila, unbank ba? Opo, unbank.
Okay, ma'am, cambio ko na konti. Yung napansin kasi namin yung I don't know if this is new kasi parang nagbago yung tono ng ilang mga legislators, mga senators, as far as how yung pakikitungo nila sa kanilang colleagues in the lower chamber. Kasi kagabi medyo maanghang na yung mga bitaw. And these were not ambush interviews. We're talking about words that were
Prepared speeches.
Words that were spilled out in session in the official record. At one point, Senator Amy Marcos, if I recall correctly, was calling on her colleagues in the lower chamber to replace the speaker.
Well, she said joke lang.
Well, now she's saying it's a joke.
Now she's saying suggestion lang daw.
Suggestion. But we seem to have gotten to that point na everything is out the window.
Parliamentary courtesy is out the window.
I didn't want to put it that way kasi how much value do people really put to parliamentary courtesy? But even that thing that people would use to kahit paano give a bit of respect to is already out the window na. I mean, for you to call on your colleagues to replace their leader in the lower chamber, that's a bit extreme, I suppose.
And yun pa naman yung isa pang pinut on record, for example, ni Senator Kiko, na huwag nating i-dismiss, instead i-lay on the table natin yung motion to dismiss yung impeachment complaint bilang ding interparliamentary courtesy sa House. At dahil gusto din nating maasahan if at any time in the future na magkaroon ng sitwasyon na nasa bingit yung interparliamentary courtesy naman ng House sa Senado, we would want to be able to count on that. So, I regret kung nagkaroon ng mga tono na ganon, na we threw anything important out the window. Dahil, eto nga yung sitwasyon na binabaka ng ilang sa amin yung katamaan nung Supreme Court ruling, still we found it important na paulit-ulit na bigyang diin, nire-respeto namin ang Korte Suprema. Even if the respect doesn't mean mananahimik pag may importanteng nakasalalay, even if the respect doesn't mean magbubulag-bulagan kung may inhustisya o kung may outright maling facts, but always with respect. At yun yung gusto naming laging manatili. Isa rin yan na laging binigyang diin ni Minority Leader Soto bilang veterano, dating Senate President, at naming lahat sa minority.
Actually, even last night, ma'am, parang the working premise among some of your colleagues was this is all because of the anti-Duterte feeling in the lower chamber, not because of whether or not she threatened to have anybody killed or whether there were questions about how she spent the money. It was not about that. It was more of parang kasi kayo mga antay kayo.
Rivalry. With Sara Duterte, not the president, with Sara Duterte. Yan yung nararamdaman ng mga tao.
Well, again, I felt short-changed na pananaw yon sa what was at stake at kung anong ipinaglalaban sa Senate floor. Hindi po yan personalan I would believe na bawat isa sa amin sa Senado motivated by something higher than that. And speaking only for myself at dun sa narinig kong mga explanations of vote, for example, ng mga kasama kong bumoto ng yes dun sa motion to table, the motion to dismiss, higit pa sa kahit sinong individual, yung prinsipyo talaga ng accountability. Kasi kung itinuloy yung impeachment trial, due process yun sa parehong sides. May pagkakataon yung prosecution ipresenta yung kanilang witnesses at ebidensya, ganun din ang defense. At yung impeached official may pagkakataon presenta yung kanilang ebidensya at witnesses. And on the basis of that mutual presentation, ay pwedeng magbuo ng desisyon ang kaming senator judges at pati yung ating mga mamamayan. So, hindi ko po tatanggapin na hanggang ganun na lang level na personalan lang ito o partisan politics lamang ito. Hindi po. It is beyond that. It is higher than that.
Habol ko lang, Senator, sa apat na bumoto na hindi na ituloy yung yung dalawa taga-majority Kumusta na po kayo ni Senator Kiko and Senator Bam?
Okay naman po kami. This is one clear example of voting together, working together on an important issue. And hindi lang po kami 4, 5 po ang bumoto laban, or rather 5 po kaming bumoto para sa motion to lay on the table. Opo.
Following on those lines, Senator, I wonder if I could ask you about the other political issues. We were debating this the other time. Sino po ba talaga ang opposition now? Because it's...
Yan na nga yung tanong ng mga tao ngayon.
Not just in the Senate,
not just in the Senate, but...
the opposition per se. Kasi we have different labels for it. May traditional opposition.
May independent minority.
Yung opposition.
May spiritual opposition.
So where is the Liberal Party in all of this?
I wouldn't say naman kami spiritual opposition. Pero I would like to think na yung opposition dito sa ating bayan ay hindi lamang yung, meron kasing nagsasabing sila yung opposition dahil sila ngayon ay kontra sa administrasyon at gusto magko-contest para makabalik sa kapangyarihan. I would like to think na kaming nasa hanay ng gustong magpresenta rin ng mga konkretong alternatibo sa mga importanteng issue ng ating mga kababayan, lalo na sa ekonomiya, na hindi po kami aligned kay Presidente, hindi rin kami aligned dun sa yung isang dominant faction sa administrasyon ngayon. Pero posibleng alternative kami. Iba-iba yung tawag sa amin ng iba magiging third force ba kami or what. Basta yung tinuturing kong oposisyon at just by the way, itong mga 9 na buwan pagkatapos ng eleksyon ay pangarap ko talaga na pag-isahin at magkaisa po kami para sama-sama or at least parallel na mag-organisa, mag-educate, kumilos, lalong-lalo na sa mga economic issues na pinaka nagdadala ng dusa sa ating mga kababayan.
Pero ma'am, at the same time, yun lang kasi, last week lang si Trillanes, we spoke to him a few days ago. And he was alleging na si Lenny and si Bam told him daw in person that they would oppose any move to, they would have opposed any move to surrender Duterte to the ICC. So, may ganun siyang bitaw.
He also alleged that si Mayor Lenny and VP Sara are actually deeper friends than most people realize. So, tapos bumawi naman si Congresswoman De Lima na hindi ganyan ang aking pagbasa. So, may ganung, I don't know if you'd call it friction.
Hindi ko alam kung magkakaibigan sila. At wala rin akong narinig kina Mayor Lenny o Senator Bam na ganung pananaw nila sa isyung nabanggit. Basta ako on that issue of the ICC, tulad ng marami nating kababayan, ina-anticipate ko yung unang hearing sa susunod na buwan, lalong-lalo na para sa mga balo at mga ulila ng extrajudicial killings.
Okay. But Senator, can I have you react to former Senator Sonny Trillanes saying that you're the best candidate for 2028 against Vice President Sara Duterte because we live in a world where evil forces are at play, and sabi niya, you're the only one who stood firm all this time. So he says it's not Mayor Lenny, it's gonna have to be you. Can I have you react to that?
Mag-uusap pa ang oposisyon. Nagpapasalamat ako kay former Senator Sonny Trillanes sa kanyang affirmation. And at the same time, yun na nga po, itong 9 na buwan, priority ko makaambag sa pagkakaisa sa opposition or some forces within what I call the opposition would call themselves reformist or independent, kung anuman. Pagkakaisa po naming lahat na sumuporta sa Akbayan, sa ML Party List, sa Kiko Bam, sa mga mayors natin, kasama si Mayor Lenny at iba pa, pagkaisahin para sama-samang kumilos, lalo na sa mga economic issues at patuloy na magtrabaho at manindigan para sa ating mga kababayan, papunta at lampas pa nga sa 2028. So kailangan pa naming mag-usap at magkaisa paano kami pinaka malakas at ginawa matagumpay makakakilos sa 2028.
Okay, but let me ask you straight, if it came down to it, would you be interested?
I am asking every fellow leader sa opposition na maging bukas po ang bawat isa sa amin. Kasi kailangan naming magbuo ng pinakamalakas na slate na posible, na pinakamalakas na kandidato sa bawat posisyon sana ay maging handa para pwede naming ialok ang aming plataforma, lalo na para sa mga economic issues at pagdating sa mga eleksyon sa mga susunod na dekada ay pwede rin kami mag-alok ng best offer sa ating mga kababayan at sa ating mga botante. So I'm asking each one of us to remain open.
Ami?
Is there a possibility that you will align with Marcos forces?
Sa opposition po talaga ako. Yun po, sa opposition po talaga.
So you're the traditional opposition, Senator?
Sorry?
You're the real opposition, is what you're saying.
Oh, I'm part of what I would like to think is the real opposition.
The real opposition.
Opo.
Okay.
But what would you think or what would you feel if some of your colleagues in the opposition align or affiliate themselves with the Marcos administration, especially going to 2028, especially if Sara Duterte or the Duterte family is going to run in 2028? Kung umabot po dun sa punto na there's a very powerful na very influential na kalaban and some of your colleagues decide to affiliate with the admin.
Well, I suppose posible na sino man sa ganitong napakahirap na politika might consider something like that at one point or another. Pero ang disposition ko talaga ay let's put forth our strongest possible alternative first. At saka naniniwala kasi ako na kapag we hold yung pole natin, we hold a center of gravity, mas posibleng maka-attract yun ng mga like-minded na mga tao, mga grupo, mga energies, di ba? So, para sa akin, doon talaga nakabuhos yung buong enerhiya ko sa ngayon na kung ngayon may dalawang pinakamalakas na centers of gravity, no? Bago pa isipin mag-align doon sa isa, i-test natin sa ating mga kababayan at mga botante, magtayo ng alternatibo pa. Dahil malay natin, out there ay may mas marami pang mga tao at grupo na naghahanap lang ng alternatibo na makakasama. At kung mayroong espasyo, no, parang sa physics, ay pwedeng pumasok doon yung mga like-minded spirits, yung mga fellow travelers. So, doon ako excited na magtrabaho ngayon.
Like-minded spirits.
Yes.
Senator, what's with the...
Spiritual opposition.
Hindi nga sila spiritual opposition. But what's with the timeline, Senator Risa?
9 months.
You keep coming back to the 9 months after election. Ano pong significance
Sorry.
doon?
Ewan ko ba, I don't know, baka naman sa pagbubuntis.
Parang pregnancy, no?
Kaya parang nanganak na.
Parang pregnancy.
Parang pregnancy.
Naisip ko lang after May. Sige, a certain number of months, nasabi ko lang minsan. So it's just a working timetable ba na magbuntis, manganak pagkatapos ng mga siyang na buwan. Could be less, probably
Di tama nga, parang pregnancy.
Oo. Baka malay natin, baka makapanganak ng isang broader, stronger
coalition,
unity, na magiging kapaki-pakinabang sa ating mga kababayan, lalong-lalo na sa mga economic issues at mas magkaroon ng na mag-alok ng alternatibo pagdating sa 2028 and beyond.
Senator, you said earlier, coming back to the impeachment, sabi mo, you feel everyone voted to a higher calling and that this is all beyond party politics. But at this point, after all the debates, after the many months of back and forth, do you feel that there's been undue delay with the Senate as far as this impeachment process goes?
Well, syempre, mula sa simula, forthwith yung mukhang bibig namin. So, dapat sana nagpatuloy na sa trial nung Pebrero pa lang, no? Nung tinransmit sa amin ng House ang articles of impeachment. Hindi man nangyari yon, inilaban namin ulit nung June. Hindi pa rin nagpatuloy. At yun na nga, kagabi, yan po yung naging boto ng Senado. So, kung na-delay nung una, kagabi naman, dahil nga sobrang nag-iba yung konteksto, mayroon ng motions for reconsideration at binigyan ng Korte Suprema mismo ang Vice President ng ilang araw para mag-reply. Kaya kami naman ay nagsabi, huwag magmadali. Diba? Slow down. Ngayon sana nag-delay ng desisyon na iyan na i-archive. So gayon pa man, yan ang naging botohan. So i-assess po namin ang situation. I'm sure nagsisimula na mag-assess yung mga civil society advocates dyan. And then we move forward.
Okay. Sorry, Senator, we're being told to wrap up, but if I can just squeeze one last question in, ibang topic na po, this is about GSIS. You are the ones who revealed that it spent 1 billion pesos in investing in online gambling through DigiPlus shares. Nag-reply na po ang GSIS. It said that the fund remains strong, secure, and actuarially sound. It also said that the investment was legal, above board, was transacted through the Philippine Stock Exchange. It was transparent. But what do you want to do with this case? Do you want to call an investigation? Ano pong end dito?
Well, ang end or ang continuation dito ay indeed magkakaroon ng investigasyon sa Senado. At salamat sa chair ng komite kung agad nilang itatakda ito kasi talagang retirement money ng 2.7 million government workers ang nakasalalay dito. I'm glad sumagot na ang GSIS dahil my beef is really with them. More than with the companies, it's with GSIS. Kasi companies transact business as long as they do it according to the law, walang problema. Pero what is a government pension institution doing investing in gambling? And not just investing, pero sabi nila above board, even with the SEC, hindi pa nga registered po yung mga stocks na yan sa SEC when the transaction was made. COA, the Commission on Audit, ay earlier pinasinungalingan na yung sinabi ng GSIS ngayon na actuarially sound dahil maapektuhan ang actuarial life ng GSIS dahil sa investment na ito at least 3 pang mga katulad.
Okay, well, we have lost Senator Rizza's line just as well. I think that was the end of the interview. That's all the time we have for today. I don't know if she's going to get to watch this, but thank you so much for talking to us at length today, Senator Rizza Ontiveros, Deputy Minority Leader at the Senate.
Thank you po.
Nandiyan pa ba si Ami?
Si Ami, nandiyan pa yun si Ami. Wala na ito si Ami. Nandiyan si Ami.
Nandito pa ba ako?
Nandiyan si Ami, oh. Nandiyan si Ami.
I'm here.
Hi, Ami. What's your takeaway?
Mukhang ngayon na nga, it's a compromise. Hindi naman siya, although yung si Speaker nagsalita, mukha daw buried na yung yung case eh. But it's an archive. Alam naman natin yung ibig sabihin nun, di ba? You can dig it up. Although it's it's difficult and it's the same senators. Kung sakasakali man na maibalik yan, I think medyo malapit-lapit sa ganung vote, no? Siguro hindi ganung kalakas pa, ganung karami, but medyo mahirap siya.
It's gonna be hard to break through kasi parang everyone's voting along party lines already.
Yeah.
Great deal of huffing and puffing to blow the house down.
Ikaw yun, the big bad wolf. We will leave that
Although,
there.
hintayin natin, baka yung Supreme Court also set several precedents na which will make it hard to impeach people, no?
Oo.
So, tingnan natin kung anong magiging development in the Supreme Court. At least, kung may konting pagbabago ron, meron nang na-achieve yung mga no? Yung mga nagpo-protesta.
And on that note, thank you so much for joining StoryCon today. I'm Mipa Mintuan, Editor-in-Chief of the Philippine Star. Join us again tomorrow, 4 p.m. for StoryCon. I'm Regina Lay.
I'm Ed Lingao. We are One News, all sides, all the time.